Hi, my friend. Welcome back to the Declutter 360 podcast. I'm so thrilled you're here as always, and I am so excited today to share with you another tip for your decluttering and organizing toolkit through the summer series, our simple summer series, that is. But first, I have to pop back to last week's episode. If you missed last week's episode, you definitely want to go back and listen to it. It's episode 15. It's about digital decluttering. So we were decluttering the photo section of your phone and your email inbox. And I have gotten so much great feedback that I knew I had to give it another shout today. So if you missed episode 15 about digital decluttering, make sure you go back and give that one a listen and know that we're going to expand on this in the future because it was such an exciting topic for so many people. And I think what was really a game changer for folks, what I was hearing from you is that you loved how simple, how quick and easy that tip made it for you. And so while you're just barely chipping away at the tip of the iceberg right now with it, you're going to see the benefits of sticking with that over time and creating that new habit of digital decluttering for yourself. Super excited for y'all. So, had to give that one a quick shout before we dive into today's tip, which, my friends, yes, we are back to sharing a rule. I know there's a lot of rules, but please, again, I want to remind you that the rule and the parameters of each of these tips and tricks that I'm sharing with you can be altered. Yeah, the way I share it is not the hard and fast rule, it's a suggestion. Right? It's a suggestion of a rule. And you might think, ooh, that sounds really good. But those parameters don't necessarily jive with me the way I would like them to. And so please know that you always have permission to live your life the way you want to. Whether or not you adopt one of these rules, totally fine, totally up to you. Whether or not you adopt this rule as I share it, totally fine, totally up to you. So, as with all of these other quote unquote rules that I'm sharing as tips and tricks to help you simplify and make the decluttering and organizing process a little bit easier on yourself, I want you to do it always, always, always in a way that feels amazing to you. So, today's rule, if you will, is called the one touch rule. And I will tell you for myself, with the one touch rule, I use it as frequently as I can. But there are moments when I know this doesn't work for me right now. And I'm okay with that. That's something you have to be okay with too. But at the same time, you also have to be thinking about and be mindful of, why doesn't it work for me right now? Does it not work for me right now because I just don't feel like doing it? Or does it not work for me right now because I'm doing something and living out my purpose and I just can't do it at this moment, but I'm already mentally making a plan for that second touch on this item? Now, you're probably still thinking, well, you haven't even told us what this one touch rule is all about. I bet you can figure it out, but let's go ahead and dig in, shall we? Here's the deal with the one touch rule. The one touch rule is a great rule that's going to help you keep from adding to your feelings of clutter in your space. So, whether you are still working on decluttering or you have achieved a level of decluttering and organization that you're really happy with, this rule is for you. So, this one's for everybody, right? The one touch rule says that when you have something in your hand, you're walking around your house or you come into your house with something in your hand, the one touch rule says that that touch, that holding of that item is the only one you're going to have between that item and it getting put in its place. That if you are finished using the item, it's going to immediately go back to its place. So that would look like read my book. I'm done reading my book for now. I'm not just going to set it on the kitchen counter and walk away or toss it on the coffee table, unless maybe that's where my book lives, is on the coffee table so that I see it and will grab it again and read it again. Again, this all has to work for you. But the idea is that I'm done reading my book, I'm going to go put it in its place. Or the idea that you could take it as far as, okay, I did the laundry, I folded the laundry. How often do we either abandon the laundry once it's in the dryer or once we pull it out of the dryer and it just hangs out in a basket? Or maybe we get it to the point where we fold it, but then the basket of folded clothes continues to live in your living space without getting put away. That you could even apply the one touch rule to that, okay, I just finished folding all of this laundry. Now I'm going to go put it away. I'm going to finish and complete the cycle of handling this item. And completing that cycle means that it goes back to its home. So that's even when you go to the store and you bring, maybe you go to Target and you pick up all, your shampoo and whatever it is that you may need and you bring it home. Do you just drop those bags inside the door and forget about them and allow them to become clutter and visual clutter for you? Or do you come in, you may maybe put the stuff down, maybe you need to finish something, but then you pick those bags back up and you go put everything away in its home? Yeah, that's the one touch rule, is that when you bring items in or you're using an item, as soon as you're finished with it, you're returning it back to its home and not just setting it down somewhere else so that you have to come back to it later or see it later and deal with it later. You will be amazed how fantastic your space feels because your mental space feels so good not seeing all of that clutter out that we create for ourselves by just leaving things out when we're finished using them. I even take this to the next level in my home. We do like to, wash our hand wash dishes, and I have a drying mat that we put out and we set them on the mat. Oftentimes we let them just dry out for the most part on the mat. Okay. I'm not necessarily the kind of person who feels like I have to wash the dishes, dry the dishes, put them away immediately. But you better believe I'm coming back. And before I tackle anything else, I suddenly have all of this extra visual clutter by all these clean dishes sitting out. And so I finish drying whatever maybe hasn't dried and I put them all away where they go. And that helps me then to be able to focus and relax and enjoy cooking in my space, even just like existing in my space, walking through my space, filling up my water cup, whatever it may be. So you can use the one touch rule in lots of different ways. And my family and I are having a little bit of fun with this over on Instagram. So come check it out and declutter.360 over on Instagram. Let us know if and how you will be utilizing the one touch rule in your home. Until next week, have an amazing day, decluttered and organized from all angles.